I figured I'd make a video about what it actually, my kind of take on what it means to face your shadow. I kind of been thinking about it for a while, like what I have done, and as I'm driving home, I'm listening to some classical music, and as I'm listening to it, a lot of emotions for me pop up, and classical tends to do this. Classical is like a deep thought kind of music for me. Every time I listen to it, I get deep in thought. Helps me focus, this and that. And as I'm listening to it, a lot of these type of deep emotions and pain and different types of feelings come out. And as I'm listening to it, naturally, I want to change it. It's like, I don't want to feel this. I don't even want to think about this. But as I'm doing that, I kind of consciously think well, maybe this is the time where I need to think about it. Maybe this is the time where I need to actually feel it, because I did turn it on, or, whether I turned it on or it came on, these are things that I'm ignoring. And I just think naturally, being an athlete and who I've kind of molded myself to be, I don't allow myself to do that. I don't allow myself to, lack of better words, to stop before the line, before the finish line type deal. Like if we're talking about sports, you go through the line, and that kind of metaphor is, you push until the end, and you don't take the easy way out. And I say all to say that, I didn't change it. I didn't change the classical music off, and instead I just sat there with it. I sit there with all the thoughts and all the emotions that are coming up, and instead of pushing them away, I just sit with them. I sit with that fire, that flame, and as certain thoughts come across, I look at them. I examine them. I examine the feelings that I have, whether it's good, positive, or negative, that I have from the music. And through that, I believe that is facing your shadow. It's facing the things that you regularly push away, or that you shy away from, because they are tough things to face. We are humans, and naturally we want to be happy. We want to feel good. Nobody really wants to feel bad or wants to feel negative emotion. That's why there's a word called coping. That's why there's a world full of entertainment or things that kind of distract us, or even that's why we go out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and have a good time. It's just natural that it's a human thing that we want to do. That's not bad. Of course you can overindulge in things that it could become bad habits and bad, it can become negative. But it's facing your shadow is facing those things that you push away from psyche. And to really face your shadow is to sit there and really examine what you push away, what you take in, what you overindulge in, and to course correct. To examine to the point of, when I mean course correct, is this the way that you want to go? Is this kind of the life you want to lead? And just to really think about those things and simply just adjust, And if I could give an example, if I want to get personal with my kind of, when I say with classical music, I think about a lot of the stuff that I've been through in life. You know, I've been through a lot. I've been through the unmanageable, unthinkable things, you know, and by the grace of God, I'm still alive to tell these stories, and I'm sure I'll have the opportunity to share what God has done for me, my testimonies. But for the sake of this conversation, it's just, I'll think about a lot of stuff that I've been through that maybe I haven't processed all the way. A lot of the pain I've been through physically and, you know, by other people that I just haven't processed fully. And I can tell I haven't processed them fully because when I'm playing classical, those emotions come up and I just I'll get mad or I'll get sad, and you know, I use those emotions that come up as signifiers of my healing, and then you know, I just accept it for what it is and just try to heal. And it's, I think it's kind of that simple, but it's not easy. And that's just kind of the process, I think, of what facing your shadow is. You know, getting in that space where you could face your darker side and not, you know, a safe space where you can accept yourself and face those darker emotions, and begin to heal and figure out why you're feeling them. And I think, you know, that's important to health. It may sound simple, but that a lot of people don't reflect. You know, a lot of people don't take that time to face emotions and feelings that are dire, you know. But yeah, that's just my take on facing your shadow side. Kind of short video. I can expand on this for sure, because there is different techniques, there's different measures to take when you're in that space of reflection. But yeah, I love you guys, man. Peace. This process of facing your shadow is a reoccurring process that one must face. This isn't a fly-by-night type of deal. It's something that you should incorporate this practice, you know, on a regular basis to cleanse and purify yourself and continue to grow your person, grow your inner self, your inner being. And I think over time, you gain this type of strength. And on top of that, you really discover, if you cleanse out all that negativity and a lot of that dead space, not dead space, but space that is taken up in your psyche from the cluttered mind, the cluttered thoughts, and the thoughts that aren't real, you can really get to your inner self and really see who you truly are as a person. You know, you can remove indoctrined thoughts that have been placed on you by society, by friends, family, and you can choose your reality based on what you believe is true and not, or what you know what I mean, what thoughts, what beliefs you have set down in your brain from not facing these thoughts and emotions, and get rid of them, you know, and reprogram yourself. I personally have been injured, and I've had some terrible injuries where I've been bed rest and I've been, you know, stuck in one spot for over months. You know, I had an injury where I was down for 8 months recovering, and I was forced to face these thoughts. You know, I was forced to face the fire that I had put away, and, you know, day by day, it was not easy. I failed a lot of those days, you know, and failing is just where I don't want to face. But, you know, over time, you know, being that I had to sit with myself for so long, I began to take into account what I was pushing away. And as I was doing that, I got to revelation after revelation, and I just kept going deeper in my mind to where I was like, wow, a lot of this stuff that happened in my life, or was okay. I started to accept myself, and I started to realize that a lot of the stuff that happened, a lot of the thoughts that I had were kind of placed on me. They weren't really how I saw myself. And I began to just not accept it and reprogram my reality as how I want it to be, and how I accept it, how I see it. And that really empowered me as a human being. And it's something that I carry on, with. Like, I decide, what I want to think and how I want to be, how I want to feel. And despite everything I've been through, everything that I've faced, I can decide how I want to move forward. I can decide how I want to picture and see these things. And, not anybody else, not society. I decide, because I'm the one facing it, and I'm the one telling myself, I'm the one moving forward with myself. Nobody else is. So I have to be okay with how I see things, and that's all that matters. And that's the true power of facing your shadow. You allow yourself to see where you can improve, what kind of emotions and feelings are affecting your person, to further grow yourself in the direction you want to go. And it's just pure acceptance of self. It's acceptance of what you've been through, what you're feeling, how you're processing it, how your body moves and within this time and reality. And it gives you the freedom to reprogram your reality in the structure that you want it. And that's why it's so important, because each one of us are moving through time. So it gives you that kind of control.